If you are constantly trying to eat less, but always end up feeling starving and frustrated, you are not alone. Hunger is one of the biggest reasons people give up on their goals. But here's the thing, you can eat less without feeling hungry. Now, I'm Maria and I'm a registered dietitian who specializes in weight loss. And I have spent years digging into the science of satiety. And the result? I have 7 genius tricks that actually work. So let's get into them. And if you're into real, practical, science-based tips in usually less than 10 minutes, make sure to hit subscribe. Now, number 1, and most people do not know about this, but there is actually a published tool known as the Satiety Index. And it ranks food based on how filling they are in comparison to their calories. So basically how much food satisfaction you're getting per calorie that you're eating. For example, croissants, they rank terribly. They're light, buttery and delicious, but they are not filling. You could eat 3 of them and still be hungry, but lo and behold, you've consumed about 1,000 calories. And if we compare that to something like boiled baby potatoes, these actually rank excellently. These are one of the highest ranking foods on this satiety index. They are super filling, super satisfying, and not that calorie rich. It's actually where the idea of an old diet years ago called the potato diet came from. Basically, you ate potatoes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Not a very balanced diet, but people did this for weeks and they lost weight. But it only worked short term because it's not very sustainable to only eat potatoes for the rest of your life, and not good for you. Although you could say quite an Irish-based diet until something like a potato blight kicks in. Now, some other top scorers in this satiety index are fish and oats. Again, these are really good for making you feel super full. On the flip side, your croissants, your candies, your sweets, all of these provided a lot of calories without actually filling you up and giving you satiety. These foods tend to just stimulate your appetite without satisfying you. Now, everybody is different, and some foods will naturally feel more filling to you over others. So it is worth experimenting. But overall, focusing on these high satiety foods, this can make sticking to a calorie deficit way easier and a lot more sustainable. I'll leave a link to the full index below. But I do just want to say that hunger isn't something that we do all need to be fearful of and try to completely avoid. A small amount of hunger is good, and we are meant to feel hungry in between our meals, but we don't need to be fighting against it miserably 24/7. Now, my next tip is to fill up on fiber and do not fear the carbs that come along with it, because fiber adds volume to your meals without adding tons of calories, meaning that you can eat more food for fewer calories and stay fuller for longer. It also helps slow digestion, and this will help keep your blood sugar more stable, which will help reduce energy crashes or those moments where you just feel like, why am I suddenly starving? So if you're wondering how to get in more fiber, the best way to do this is to think about plants first. Think more veggies, more fruits, more whole grains, nuts, seeds, beans, legumes, all of the plant foods. These are the things that will really fill your belly and keep you satisfied. If you think of it like this, a big salad with tons of roasted veggies, beans and greens, these will all take up a lot more space in your stomach. And this will keep you way fuller for way longer in comparison to something like crackers or a protein bar. So if your meals feel a bit sad, think fiber. It's the easiest way to bulk things up, and it will give you so many benefits for your gut health too. And in general, most people want to aim for at least 25 to 30 grams of fiber every day. But if you want to be more specific, for every 1,000 calories that you consume daily, you should be getting 14 grams of fiber. So for example, if you are only eating 1,500 calories a day, a goal for you would be 22 grams of fiber. But I want to clear something up, because a lot of fiber sources contain carbohydrates, and carbs have a bad name in the weight loss world. And yes, many ultra-processed foods are high in carbs and low in fiber, and very easy to overeat. But that doesn't mean that all carbohydrates are the enemy. In fact, many high fiber carbs can actually help you eat less. Foods like your potatoes, your oats, your pulses, and your whole grains. These have been shown to improve satiety and help regulate your appetite. One study even found that 39% of people eating a high fiber diet, they felt less hungry, and 22% of them even ended up eating less. So instead of cutting out carbs completely, focus on including the high fiber ones, the kinds that fill your stomach and your plate. Now, gram per gram, protein is the most filling macronutrient. And it doesn't just fill you up, it also triggers hormones in your body. And these hormones literally tell your brain, you're good now, you can put the fork down. And this is why when somebody has a high protein breakfast, like Greek yogurt with fruit or eggs on whole grain toast, they usually feel way more satisfied for way longer than if somebody was to just have a plain piece of toast or a bowl of cereal. More protein will mean less snacking, fewer cravings, and it also helps preserve muscle mass if you're in a calorie deficit, which is a win-win situation. I often get my clients to think about every meal and build it around your protein. Don't treat it like a side dish. And whether that is eggs, yogurt, fish, beans, tofu, meat, chicken, you want to make sure these are on your plate for every single meal. It will make such a big difference to how full you feel after you've eaten. And this is the one change that once people start to really adopt, they really start to feel the difference. In fact, protein works on that famous hormone GLP-1, which is what many of the weight loss drugs like Ozempic on the market are also working on. Now, don't confuse thirst for hunger. If you're not properly hydrated, you might think that you're hungry, when in reality, you were just thirsty. And studies suggest that up to 37% of people confuse the two. So making sure that you're drinking enough water throughout the day can really help keep your appetite feel under more control. Now, at the same time, chugging back loads of water isn't a magic fix, and more water isn't necessarily always better. But staying well hydrated is one of those low effort habits that just makes everything feel better. It helps with your energy, with your digestion, with your focus, and yes, of course, your appetite. So a good rule of thumb is to sip water throughout the day. Always have a water bottle at hand. Don't wait until you feel thirst, because if you get to that point, you are already dehydrated. Now, your brain takes around 20 minutes to register fullness. So if you're inhaling back your food, you're likely finished before your body has even had time to say, hey, I think we're good now, we can stop eating. So slowing down at your meals is one of the simplest and underrated ways to eat less without feeling deprived. So put your fork down between bites, chew your food, and actually enjoy the process. Give your body a chance to catch up with the food that you're eating. And this is a key aspect of the Mediterranean diet that most people forget about, but it's not just about what you eat, it's about how you're eating. It's about being mindful and taking your time to eat slowly and thoughtfully at your meals. Now, I struggle with this sometimes too myself. I'm not perfect. Especially if I enter into a meal absolutely starving, I just want to eat it all really quickly. Or if I'm distracted, like I'm trying to do work on my laptop or I'm on my phone while I'm having my meals. These are things we should really not be doing. So there are a few tricks that you can use to your advantage for this. You can deliberately choose some meals or snacks that force you to slow down. For example, spicy food. I definitely can't eat a spicy meal quickly. Or if something is really hot or really cold, like an ice cream, you just can't really physically rush it. It might sound basic, but little tricks like this can really work. And slowing down lets your body and your brain work as a team. And that is where the magic truly happens. Now, this might sound dumb, but it actually works, and it's downsizing your dishes. This can make your portions look bigger, which helps trick your brain into thinking that you're eating more, even if you're not. It's a visual illusion, but a powerful one at that. In fact, studies show that people eat up to 30% less just by switching to smaller plates or bowls. And this is without even realizing it. And over the decades, the typical size of a plate has actually increased just as our expanding waistlines have increased with that. But our brains are not great when it comes to portion control, but they are pretty easy to fool visually. So why not use this to your advantage? Think of it like an optical illusion, but for your appetite. Now, I'm going to pause here and ask that if you have learned anything at all so far in this video, I would really appreciate it if you hit that red subscribe button below. And if you're looking for healthy, high protein recipes to help you with your healthy eating journey, make sure to follow me over on Instagram. I also have a free recipe ebook, which I will leave linked in the description box below. Now, another hack is to stick to whole foods the majority of the time, rather than the ultra processed ones. Because ultra processed foods are engineered to be overeaten. They are usually low in fiber, very easy to chew, and high in fat, sugar, salt, and all of the good stuff that make them taste addictive. So they become very easy to reach for again and again, even when you're already full. So whole foods, think of things with a single ingredient, like a potato, an apple, your fruits, your vegetables. All of these things are higher in water, are higher in fiber, and take actual effort to chew and digest. So they naturally slow you down and fill you up. And in fact, there was this one study that was really, really well done. And it took participants and it gave them 2 different diets. And these diets were equally matched. So they had the exact same amount of calories, exact same amount of protein and macronutrients. They even had the exact same amount of fiber and salt as well. And what they did was they had the first diet was ultra processed food, and the second diet was more normal whole food. But again, the exact same calories and all of that. And they left participants eat as much as they wanted or as little as they wanted. And the ones that were given the processed food ate more every single time. And the interesting thing was, at the very end, they didn't even report that the processed food was necessarily much tastier. But for some reason, they were able to eat much more of it. So if your goal is to eat less without constantly feeling hungry, cutting back on the ultra-processed food is a good place to start. Now, volume eating is another really good tactic, and it's all about maximizing how much food you're eating without necessarily maximizing on calories. So think about big salads, lots of vegetables, lots of whole foods, and filling your plate or your bowl at every meal with these volume-rich foods that are high in water and fiber and, again, space, but don't necessarily have a lot of calories to go on with it. So for example, if you were to eat a big, massive crunchy salad, as opposed to drinking the same amount of calories but from a glass of Coke, this big crunchy salad is going to take up so much more space in your stomach. And your stomach has these stretch receptors built into the wall. And when these are stretched, it sends signals to your brain to tell you that you have eaten a lot. And your brain and your stomach start to work together. But if you're eating foods that maybe have the same amount of calories, but they're much more dense, like your oils, your fizzy drinks, or your more high-fat foods, these aren't going to give you that same amount of volume. So it's a good strategy to use to your advantage. Now, you can go overboard at this, like some people will try to really fill up on low-calorie foods, and that's not going to really work long-term either, because you're just going to feel bloated and uncomfortable. So you want to take a practical approach to this as well. What I would often say to clients is to try to have at least half of your plate with veggies, salads, and some fruits. You can do things like taking your regular portion of rice and having half rice, half cauliflower rice. Little hacks like this can make managing your appetite so much easier. So there we have it, the genius satiety hacks to help you eat less without feeling hungry. Now let me know in the comments which one of these you're going to try first. And if you do any of them right now, which one makes the biggest impact for you? And as always, if there's any other video topics that you would like me to make, anything else that you would like more help with, just comment below, and I will do my best to get that out for you. And if you enjoyed this video, I'm going to leave another one on the screen here, which YouTube has specifically selected for you because it thinks you would like to watch it next. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Stay happy and stay healthy, and I will see you again next week. Thanks for watching.